Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's Michael. Yo, welcome to the podcast, man. I am in Washington, D.C. right now. Washington, D.C., performing at the DC Improv. All the shows are almost sold out. Thank you so much for listening to Comics on Canes. I've been wanting to do this forever. Literally, I've been wanting to do this show for 5 to 6 years. I've been a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. If you don't know my story, I became a Canes fan in 2001 when they won a national championship. Mark Stoops, I was always a fan, but my friend Mark Stoops was a defensive back coach back in those days. And a funny story, if you don't know this story. So I used to go to all the games at the Orange Bowl, and they had this VIP booth that it was all you could drink, all like literally all you could drink. And this VIP, like it was glassed in, you could watch the game and drink as much as you want. And I was up there partying with all my friends because Mark Stoops set it up. And this lady comes up to me. That's when I worked at Y100. I was on Y100, had a big radio show. It's called the Yo Show. I would put my mom and dad on the show all the time. And this lady comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I'm a big fan. Can I take a picture?" I took a picture with her, right? And this is how much I didn't know about the school. Because remember, I always liked the Canes, but in 2001, I really became a fan. This lady I take a picture with, and I didn't know. I was like, okay. Well, I don't know who you are, but okay. I asked her, was she a teacher? I go, so you a teacher or anything? She goes, no, I'm Donna Shalala. I think that's her name, right? Donna Shalala, the one we all hate that I found out that kind of ruined the football program. I, I didn't even know who she was. She got so offended. So offended. She stormed, she goes, I'm the president or whatever she was, and stormed off. So for all you Kane fans that hate her, just know I dissed her right in front of her face and didn't even know I was dissing her. And, and to me, that's hilarious because I know how many people hate that woman. I know so many people hate the woman. All right, want to throw you up there. We're doing a live broadcast. What's up, Dolphin? Derek? It's all about the you. Look, I'm taking your comments right now. I'm taking your comments. I want to answer some of your questions. Gio Milian is going to be on. He's going to be talking about recruiting, man. There's a lot of flips, potential flips that's going to be happening. You know, when December rolls around, it's flip miss for us. That's what we do in the Miami Hurricane world. This is live. I am live. So leave a comment. I'll read it up. I'll put it up there. What's up? What's up? What's up, Kane fan? Frankie Xavier. What's up? What's up? How we feeling on this bye week? I'm going to be honest with you. It's weird on a bye week for me because, you know, if you're a Canes fan like me, we look so forward to our team playing on the weekends. But when you don't get that, it's like this emptiness, man. Like it's great because, you know, our hearts won't be racing this weekend, but still, I love the Canes so much. I miss them on this weekend, you know? Of course, like always, I hope Ohio State loses. I hope FSU loses. I hope Florida loses. You know, we even want SMU. Who would have thought? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What's up, DeMonte Carter? Who would have thought we would want SMU to lose? That's where we are in the ACC. I don't look, I'm still out on that. I don't know. I don't know if they're good or not, SMU. But you know, we all know Rhett Lachey. The dude can bring it on offense. But now we want them to lose. I mean, if you would have told me FSU was going to be 1-5, 1-6, whatever they are, 1 and something, and you would have told me SMU is making noise in the ACC, I would have been like, yo, what's up with that? Afternoon, Kent. What's up, IMAX? You doing all right? Just say Southwest 100%. They got all our players. But you know what? But can we be happy? Let me ask you something, IMAX. Can we be happy for those players? Because Miami didn't value them. SMU took them. Now they're all starters. A lot of them are starters and making noise. So that just shows you. You know what that shows you, IMAX? Yo, what up, Paco? Paco's always checking in. You know what that shows you, though, IMAX? Is that Miami's talent has gotten to a level where you could let players go that start for other teams. Isn't that pretty amazing? Go back 3 years. How we were suffering on the offensive and defensive line. How just last year, let's talk about last year. If Ruben Bain wasn't in the game, we would be like, yo, what's going on? We knew it wasn't going to end well, and to be growing in 3 years to that level, it's kind of crazy. And if you listen to the show, I'm trying to get to that game. Here's the problem with that game. Hold on, let me finish my thought, and I'm gonna get back to you, Dolphin. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. We letting players go that are starting in other places. Here's the thing. That's what I'm afraid. I'm not afraid, but that's what I think is going to happen to AJ Allen. I think he's going to transfer. I don't think he'll go to a much bigger school than SMU. I think he could go back to Nebraska. I think he may have a lot of hate in his heart and just say, yo, Florida is going to be all right, but I want to play Miami and show out on Miami. I can see him going there, but I can see AJ Allen being running back one and doing some damage. And just think if a running back like that went to SMU. I mean, I know Brashard Smith is starting, but he won't be starting if AJ Allen went there. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. And no offense to Brashard Smith, but AJ Allen to me, and if you listen to this podcast, to me, he is a complete back. From back to quick, fast, strong. I don't know if he can block or not. I don't know. But I can tell you this. People still throwing out that narrative that he can't block, but every time I've seen him in a game, he's blocked okay. I had no problem with him in the game. He's blocked great in games. No bust or anything. Go back and watch. So I hear this narrative always, people saying, well, he can't block. But when I watch the games, he's blocking. Maybe he can't block in practice. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. We live right now. All right. What says, I'm happy, but let's see. I'm happy, but some took themselves out. You're right, IMAX. For some reason, and I don't know, look, I'm not blaming Manny for anything, and these players are not Manny's players. But, man, there was this thing in Miami where players could just act bad and get away with it. Because I think at one time in Miami, this was 3-4 years ago, I believe Manny Diaz was coaching for his job rather than coaching the players. He just needed people to play to give him his best chance to win no matter what they did. And that's why they ran all over him. You know what I mean? Hold on, I'm going to get some water real quick. That's why they ran all over him. You know what I mean? They ran all over Manny Diaz because Manny was coaching for his job. It was his third year. He would let players do whatever they want, That's what I think happened. All right, let me get back to Tolfan. He's hitting me up. All right. Oh, man, that Clinton Portis. Wait, Gio's texting me right now. Okay, cool. I'm live right now. He's going to be checking in soon. Hold on 1 second. So, hold on now. So, we'll get to the Clinton Portis, but I want to talk about the Florida State game. This is what I don't like about that Florida State game. I live in Las Vegas. I would have to fly all the way to Florida. I was going to take a red eye, go to the game, but I'm seeing tickets are like $300-$400 to watch Miami play a 1-7 team. Nah, I'm a hardcore Canes fan. I can't pay. Like if Florida State was undefeated or something, like what's crazy? I was about to buy those tickets like when the season started because I was like, both teams going to be undefeated. This is going to be amazing. And then I saw the tickets are like $400, $500, $600 to watch Miami play a 1-7, 1-8 team. No, a 2-5 team. No, I can't do that. I can't. No matter, everything in me says don't go to that game. Don't pay that much money to watch. And it's not even about the Canes. It's about watching the Canes play a 1-something team. I can't get myself to that point where I'm gonna spend money to watch Florida State. I can't spend that money knowing Florida State is making me spend. I know I'm the Canes, but to spend that much money to watch a trash Florida State team, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I want to be there, but I just can't do it. I can't. Gio Million's going to be checking in. He has some breaking news for us. He's been breaking news all the time. This is what I love about Gio. He's doing his own thing. He went independent. He decided to make his own path. And that's what I tell people. That's what I did in comedy. My last special that blew me up, self-funded it, put it out myself, made my own opportunity. I didn't wait for opportunity. You make opportunity. And that's what I love. That's what I did. That's what I did. I made my own opportunity. And I shot a new special last week. It's called Snack Daddy. It comes out January 28th. But I'm making that opportunity. Gio is the same way. Now Gio's making his own path. And that's what I love, man. That's what I love what Gio is doing. You know, because so many people, look, this is my only most motivational thing I'm going to tell y'all. So many times we get caught in an everyday rut of just getting paid by the same people, building their brand, and being depressed doing it. And while you building their brand, they're making all the money. You're not getting your cut. And then one day, this is what happened to me in comedy when I was an entertainment reporter. I was like, yo, why am I building y'all? I need to build myself. And guess what? Once you build yourself up, these other places that wanted you to work for, now you're more value. Now they're like, yo, can we do deals with you? You know, you can't hire me full time, but we can do deals. I'll do this for you. I'll do this. Now you're a high commodity. Now people see your stuff, not there, but your stuff is getting eyes on it. And that's why I love Gio on the show. He reminds me of all the hustlers out there making a path for themselves. And that's what I truly love. That's why I bring him on. And he's freaking talented. Let's be honest. Throw one more up there. I have a ticket for you for the FSU game. You can sit with, see, that's what I love about the Canes fans. That's what I love. I don't know you. I don't know what kind of person you are. So I'm a decline, but no, I'm just like, I love you. I'm going to put them on right now. Gio, Million, what's up, my man?
What's up? How you doing, Michael? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you.
Hold up.
Are you there? I can hear you, but you're in and out.
That's odd.
Okay, now you're good. Now you're good.
We're good now? All right.
We're good, bro. How are you, my man?
Busy all over the place. I was just at a luncheon, just talking a lot about the Canes, just with the team and recruiting in general, with some people really well involved with our school that they do a lot of donating, a lot of great things for our program. And by the way, I was listening to you backstage. Funny enough, I saw Dolphin Derek comment that he put, Michael, I'll tell you this, Derek is a phenomenal guy. He's been around the program for many years. If I were you, I'd take him up on that offer.
Oh, well, hey, what's up? Let me bring it back. Okay. Dolphin, I don't know where his comment is, but yeah, I will hit you up on a separate message and we'll talk about that ticket. That's cool. See, that's what's great. That's what I love about the Miami community, man. We're all about the Canes, and I've never felt so much love in a community. It's fantastic.
I agree 100%. I don't think I centered my camera beforehand.
So no, you can move it. Hey, man, we're live. You can move it if you want. You want to move it over a little? Do your thing. Don't worry about it. We're live. I'll answer some of these questions. Yeah, adjust it a little bit. That's the ticket. Clinton Port, man, yes, that Clinton Portis story was hilarious. He was like, I'm coming, and they thought he was coming to the U, and he was like, no, I'm coming in a strip club. So yes. That was hilarious. I love those old school stories. All right, you center now, Gio.
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay, you're good now. All right, so, I mean, I got you on to talk about some recruiting, but I know you got other stories too that you want to talk about.
You can ask me any questions, anything you get.
Because you're everywhere, man. You're everywhere. Let's first talk about Joshua Moore. I mean, it wasn't a surprise to a lot of people, but it was a surprise that it happened right now. What can you tell us more about that story and why he flipped?
Okay, so Miami's been recruiting Joshua Moore for well over 2 years now. Plays at a smaller school in Broward County, West Broward High School, roughly that Pembroke Pines area. Miami got on him early. Ohio State as well. Actually got his film going on behind my whole big old head over here. But so they've been on him for well over 2 years. They've gotten him on campus multiple times, game day visits, all that great stuff that you can name. The biggest thing that stood out for Miami is when they put him up against some of his other top peers in his recruiting class at some of these 7-on-7 camps that Miami hosts in the indoor practice facility. They were blown away. Last year, during his junior year, he had a little bit of a minor injury, missed some time. Some schools backed off. everyone started turning up the heat now this year during his senior season. And the thing with Josh, he mentioned this right before he announced his commitment to Florida over the summer, and Miami fans weren't happy about it that he committed to the Gators. But he mentioned that things would still be open, that it wasn't a set in stone, done deal. And here we are today. Miami kept rolling with it. They got him on campus right after they blew out Florida in the swamp. Yep. That very Monday that came right after, 2 days after, he was down on campus and they were talking and everything. So this has been rolling in motion for a little while, but especially over these last 3 weeks, Miami has really zeroed in on him. They've had every conversation they've needed to have with him. He's a Cane. He's not going anywhere. He's locked in with this recruiting class, and he fits the bill of the big-bodied wide receiver types that they want to continue adding to the room. You see guys like Isaiah Horton. That's why they're going after guys like Joshua Moore. It's not only the speedsters, but you need those guys that have the build and the size to move the chains and score touchdowns.
That's what I was getting to. Regardless, he's a 4-star, right?
Yes.
Joshua Moore's a 4-star. Regardless of the stars, he could be a 3-star. It's hard to find big body wide receivers. They just don't come 6'4", 205 or 185, whatever he is right now, right? You can't teach height. And just this, he's going to develop out probably like 215, 220, be an outside threat. And let's be honest, we all saw Tooney leave. You know, he decommitted. I believe his last name is Tooney. But the thing is we have a lot of small. Yeah. But we have a lot of small receivers. So I wasn't even that mad at that. I was like, we got Ray, we got other receivers that fit that bill, you know, so I wasn't worried about that, but we don't have big body receivers, and that's what we needed.
I agree 100%. It's been a priority for Miami in this recruiting class. I'll tell you this much. When it comes to anyone on that wide receiver board, Vernell Brown III, that is the guy.
Okay, hold on.
For Miami to get him, but they're trying.
Okay, how are you? Explain this to me. How are you, Vernell Brown, watching Florida lose all these games? Your legacy, I get it. Your legacy, not but how do you watch them lose all their games? Not all of them. I mean, they're doing all right now, but lose to Miami and no, they're not a powerhouse in the SEC. And you see what's going on with Miami, and you go, how could I not go to Miami? Now, I think the breaking point will be if their coach gets fired. If Billy gets fired, I think it's a fire sale. Everybody's coming to Miami. What's your thoughts on? I know it's going to be tough to get him because he's legacy, but what's your thoughts? Is Ben Hanks or him easier to get?
Ben Hanks is the easier of the two to land. Miami's very much in that one. Georgia also in the mix there too, but a little more that I'll shed light on about Vernell Brown III. So obviously 3-time legacy for the Gators. Father went there, grandfather. Father's very involved with a lot of day-to-day stuff with the University of Florida, some NIL operations and whatnot, sports agency as well. Here's what I will share that is factual. Signing day falls on December 4th. The recruiting dead period kicks in on December 2nd. For anyone not familiar, what the dead period means is you cannot see any recruits in person, no in-person contact. You could text, you could DM, all that great stuff, but you cannot see them face to face. Now, the regular season also ends the weekend of November 30th.
I already know where you're going with this.
If Billy Napier is fired and not the head coach in Gainesville, which I don't think he's going to survive this gauntlet of 5 top 15 ranked teams of their last 6 games, and you got Florida State still on the schedule. I mean, that's the worst gauntlet in the entire country for any team to face in the back half of the season. The new coach that comes in, because I do not expect Billy Napier to be there after this, and most of that coaching staff won't be there either. A new coach is only going to have a few days to recruit and keep the guys that are still in the class at that point and try to recruit any other guys. If they don't hire a big splashy name, it's spelling out Disaster in Gainesville. Disaster for that recruiting class. And I'll share with you this, Michael. Look at Florida State last night. Yes, they did land a 4-star offensive lineman that did the Cam Ward Selly. That's like committing to Miami and doing the tomahawk chop, if we're being honest here. Yeah. But they're down all the way behind 50 in the recruiting rankings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, but that's the thing. That's the thing that's crazy is Billy Neighbor. The only person that could save that recruiting class for Florida to me is Lane Kiffin. I think Lane is a big enough splash where it's like, if you're Vernell Brown, you're like, yo, they're going to get me the rock. I know how they play offense. You know, if you don't hire him, I don't know another coach that can make a splash like that to keep all those recruits.
The names that have been tossed around for UF that has been out there and I've heard as well is Lane, then the Missouri head coach, which they're having some struggles this year.
Oh yeah, they are.
And then you also have Jed Fish, Miami's former offensive coordinator when Stephen Morris was still playing at UM, was built the House of Arizona that you see with T-Mac now. Yep. And FIDA at Arizona, those late night Pac-12 type of games. Talented team at Arizona that Jed Fish built, but now he's at Washington after Caden DeBoer left over to Alabama over the offseason. He is a Steve Spurrier disciple, also graduated from Florida as well. So he's an option on the table for them. But between the Missouri coach and Jed, I don't think they hold enough weight, at least with the kids, to say, hey, you know, like, I want to go play for him. I think Lane Kiffin's that type of guy. But here's what I'll ask you, Michael. You tell me if you think Florida is a better job than Ole Miss right now.
Not right now. Not even close. Because Florida, here's the thing, though, and I'm not sure on this, and I need your expertise. I think Florida could produce more money for a program than Ole Miss, but I know Ole Miss has old money. So yes. I think Florida could provide, because the players are from Florida. I think like 2-3 years from now, if they hired Lane after the season, 3 years, maybe 2 years, they'll be talked about. They'll have players. It'll be recruiting wars with Miami. I hope Lane doesn't go, but right now, I think he's in a better position. But is it really a better position because they're not beating Georgia or Alabama? You know what I mean?
Here's the way I look at it. I'll break it down very simple Reader's Digest format. Ole Miss, the expectation is not national championships year in and year out. The expectation is, you know, be an 9-win team. Sometimes some years you win 10, 11, maybe 12 games. The expectations are not very high. They're paying him very well. They have one of the, I would say, top 7 or top 8 NIL collectives currently in college football. Now, if you go to Florida on average, since Urban Meyer, every coach they've had is out that door every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
They've had no retention. There's no job security. The pressure from even the fan base and the boosters and alumni is extremely high there because they're expecting national championship, that we are competing for national championships. And what happens is if Lane Kiffin comes down there to Florida, you mentioned it, Michael, you got to get into battles with Mario Cristobal.
That's right.
Some of these top recruits. And Cristobal has built everything from the ground up and has his claws sunken in on the state with these top prospects. So I don't think it's a favorable thing. And I don't think Florida is an entirely great job right now.
I don't either. I don't either. My whole thing in saying that, he would be the only guy. Like, I think Vernell Brown, once Napier gets fired, I think Lane is the only one that could keep him because he knows he's going to get the rock, you know, a lot of times. Now, if you have any questions for Gio, hit us up in the chat. So many people watching. Thank you so much. Really appreciate y'all. I do want to throw out some other names. We talked about Vernell Brown, Solomon Thomas. Where are we with him? I mean, Florida State, it's a dumpster fire right now. Why is he so committed to Florida State? And also, one more thing before you move on. You open my eyes to December 2nd. After December 2nd, these players can't talk to coaches in person. Why I'm so excited about that is you can decommit from a school and never have to see a person face to face. And that's what's beautiful about December 4th in the Mario Cristobal world.
Oh yeah. It's the Grinch has got his groceries on. He's getting his daily steps in. Merry Flipmas, people, because if Miami continues to win, I'm telling you right now, these kids are going to continue knocking on that door and wanting to get into Miami's recruiting class. It's a very real thing. On your question, though, about Solomon Thomas. So communication has been very touch and go between him and Miami since he had committed to Florida State back in, I believe it was around January when he had committed, sometime around then.
Now, define touch and go. What does that mean in your world, touch and go?
Touch and go would be that, they kind of check in with him from time to time, and he's spoken with them. I overheard something over the summer that he possibly could be visiting for that Miami and Florida State game. He's kept on doubling down on his commitment with the Seminoles, but I'm going to be very honest here. I've been around recruiting for quite some time. That doesn't mean anything, especially if your team is struggling on the field. I've seen kids say, I'm 1,000% committed, or I'm 10,000% committed. What does that really even mean anymore? Because a lot of these kids that say that, they still end up decommitting. So no one's ever truly 1,000% committed or any of that crazy numbers that's out there. But what I do know is LSU's involved there, Georgia as well. Alabama is a name that I've heard that's trying to get in the mix there too. The Florida Gators were involved with him at one point. They've kind of faded in that recruitment. But I will say, there's a man in Coral Gables that is very well known for developing offensive linemen, and he currently has an offensive tackle that's going to be a first-round draft next year in Francis Mauigoa. And if I'm Solomon Thomas, I'm looking at that situation and I'm seeing what's going on with Florida State, and I play offensive line, and I want to make it to the NFL, I think I'd want to speak to Mario Cristobal right about now with the way things are going.
So you feel good about that?
Yes and no. I'm patient.
Give me a percentage of good. Like, is it 50-50? Is it 60?
It's literal 50-50 because
okay, gotcha.
It's all dependent on if the kid ends up showing up. I overheard that he had plans to show up for that game. There's going to be some surprise visitors at the Florida State game that we may not even be talking about right now. This happens every time Miami has a big game, or if Miami's winning, so the stars start to align.
Yes.
I start they may not be on the RSVP list before the game, but when it comes game time and we all arrive there, some guys start showing up, like Ben Hanks. Hanks showed up out of nowhere for the Virginia Tech game. He wasn't on an RSVP.
Now, the last time we spoke, the day we spoke, Joshua Moore flipped to Miami. When we were speaking, did you already know that was going to happen? Be honest with me.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned it to people. All right. So I've been bringing it up since.
No, you have, but did you know that was going to happen that day?
That exact day, I found out. Let's see. So that.
I guess what I'm trying to find out, did you know?
He committed on Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just wanting to know, did you know before they said it? Like, even if you did.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now,
I had a couple people text me the night before and then the morning of, and I texted a couple people letting them know, like, hey, like, this is going down. It's going to happen. Spoke to one of my graphics guys. He had the whole commitment edit ready.
I love it.
Usually how it goes down.
Now, Polk Kane asked a question, and we love Polk Kane. Where are we at with Larry Miles? Needs to be a Kane. Honestly, he might be better than VB3. What's your thoughts?
So Larry Miles plays at Orlando Jones High School with both Darion Coleman, Miami's 2026 quarterback commit, and also Miami's biggest receiver target right now in Vernell Brown, like Pope mentioned. I do know he likes Miami a lot, but it's still very early. And the reason why I stress this, because there was guys that Miami was really involved with over a year ago for this 2025 recruiting class that they ended up eventually passing on. Like, I'll give examples. Nashawn Montgomery from Miami Central, who's now committed to the Florida Gators. You also had another one I'll bring up in Cortez Mills is another guy from this 2025 recruiting class that Miami was on for some years before leading up to his senior year. And I'll share this. He wanted to come to Miami, but Miami, at least their coaches, felt like they could land even better at the position this year. So
how's that conversation go, Gio? You know, bring us inside. You're a player. Miami wants you. They're recruiting you hard. Even did Cortez get to a point where he even committed?
I overheard that he was letting them know that he wanted to commit. This was back.
Okay. So, but let's be honest. This happens to players that are committed, right? So how's that? Take us inside.
So usually the process that happens. All right. Let's say a guy's committed in Miami's recruiting class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches may decide that they want to move on from him. Some coaches handle it differently. This all depends on the program. Usually it's one of two things. One, they'll just stop talking to the kid. Like I know a kid that is committed right now to Tennessee that plays for the South Florida Express in 7-on-7, who Miami recruited many months ago, but they're not interested anymore. He's a cornerback. And Tennessee hasn't talked to the kid since, like, I think I was told the last time they talked to him was either June or July. That's
crazy.
And right now we're sitting in October, and I'm sure the kid's wondering, like, well, do I have a spot or not? Like, dude, like, if you end up coming across this podcast, go look for another spot.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have that. And the other one is sometimes coaches are just very upfront. They tell a kid, they'll sit down, have a conversation with them. They'll say, look, we think it's in your best interest to start exploring some of the other schools. We may be taking someone else at your position, and we may not honor your commitment on signing day. Some coaches do that.
Now, put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer if you don't want. Was Tooney one of those situations?
Malachi Tony? No. Miami actually wants Malachi Tony. They were willing to take him even when he reclassified. There's some things going on behind the scenes. Alabama's involved, Oregon, Florida State. He still has interest in Miami, but he finds himself in a unique situation. I brought this up in that mega write-up on all the positions for Miami's class yesterday. And I posed the question of, he's running into a situation with what Miami's prioritizing at wide receiver in this class on getting bigger, and then obviously getting more explosive if you could land a guy like Vernell Brown. He is playing with fire in the sense that he may not find himself a spot in the class later on. And the reason why I say that, because Miami fans say this every year. They're like, oh, we could land like 4 or 5 of these blue chip guys or whatever. It is very difficult, extremely difficult to land 4 wide receivers that are all blue chip guys, like 4 or 5-star guys in the very same recruiting class. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And it usually never works out that way. The max you see is 3.
Yeah. It's going to be, yeah. Because we did that on the defensive line last year, and then the offensive line the year before, correct?
Yes. So Miami, the way they've handled things in terms of recruiting, 2023 was the big year for offensive linemen. Mario and them went all in. 2024 was the defensive line. They identified it early on. They said, we need to get guys in the defensive line. This year, for 2025, this upcoming class, they've identified defensive backs since the word go. Like, this is why they're still going after DJ Pickett, who I do have Miami at the end of the cycle.
I saw that, and I saw the picket fences on the Twitter.
Yeah, look, I try not to read too much into the cryptic tweets
Okay.
there's been times where fans are criminal of it, where they've seen certain things that D Train has put out or Dennis
But
Smith.
come on, man. It's a picket fence, bro. You can't, I mean, what could
Well,
you
I think you could look at it one or two ways if
Yeah.
you want to really look into it. You could see it as maybe hinting something about Pickett, or hinting about fencing in your own backyard, the state of Florida, or
True.
in other words, the state of Miami, as Howard Schnellenberger would say.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. DJ Pickett. I mean, he's on the top of everybody's minds. Everybody is like wanting him at Miami. Your article, you wrote a fantastic article. You're making your own way. I love that. Your own opportunity. People are looking at it. How do you feel? You see a flip coming?
Yes. So I had the chance to talk with him when he visited for the Florida A&M game. I know Oregon is not in the mix. He shared that with me and one or two of the other reporters that were there in the tunnels at Hard Rock when we spoke to him after the game. He pretty much told us, Reader's Digest version, that he's seen everything that he needs to see from Miami. He'll be back for the Miami and Florida State game. There's a lot of pressure from family, from cousins, stay home, play at Miami. I will share this. If Florida was a better team, I've known this for some years now, they would have been a very serious contender in his recruitment, but he's not taking them serious at all.
Yeah.
They're just not in the picture. I expect him to flip from LSU to Miami before this recruiting cycle closes. It's just, it's not even so much the gut feeling. It's when you've been around this for so long and you've talked to hundreds of these guys, I think I call it an art that you kind of discern what they're trying to convey when they say things. And you could tell when a kid is like trying to hide something. You could tell when a kid is kind of lying. Like I go back to the Cormani McClain situation a few years ago when the guy was asked the question about Miami at the All-Star game. He was just kind of like, he had no answer. Well, here's my thing. DJ Pickett, anytime we had asked him the questions about like LSU and what's going on with them and kind of, like what would it take for Miami to get you to flip from LSU? There's a lot of giggling. There was a lot of like kind of holding back, like trying to be careful with his words and not say anything wrong about LSU so that the coaches don't call him up every next morning saying, hey, why'd you say this? Or what's going on, man? Like, are you with us? Because coaches do that. Coaches do that. They read these things.
So you think he's anybody else out there on the recruiting side? Because I want to get to other news you broke about, other things Miami related. Any other recruiting news? Elijah Griffin, are we close? Are we not? I know he's in Georgia.
He's going to be visiting. He's going to be visiting Georgia for his birthday. There's some rumors that have been going around for quite some time now that there may be an announcement with that. We'll see. I think Miami's got a decent shot, if they can survive this visit. I know he's had plans to return to Miami. Miami wants to make their final pitches to some guys. I will share this to kind of wrap up on the recruiting stuff, a nice little bow on all of it. Miami's in a really good spot for Tyler Williams from Armwood High School, four-star wide receiver committed to Georgia, who Georgia stole last minute from Miami over the summer, but things change in college football. And if you start having on-field success, these kids, kind of like that meme where you see the guy walking with his girlfriend and then he's looking back.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's going on right now with Miami.
So, I love that.
Miami's in a really good spot for him. I could see Miami flipping him. The other two because someone asked me this question, who do you see as potentially being the next commit? And I think two guys that are very close to making that type of decision is four-star linebacker Kellen Wiley Jr. from Armwood High School, another Armwood guy. By the way, if you're not familiar, Armwood for many years was a Florida Gators feeder school. They would send kids nonstop to Florida. It's not like that anymore with Mario Cristobal in town. And then the other one, defensive lineman Derry Norris from Spruce Creek High School. Miami is super high on this kid. Committed to Georgia Tech over Miami during the summer. Miami, in terms of their evaluation of him, they view him as way better than a 3-star. They think he projects like really well at the next.
Well, let's remember OJ was a 3-star.
Yep.
I mean,
right there.
Okay, Ralph, I know you hit on this.
Ben Hanks. I'll answer that. Okay. I'll answer. So here's the thing. Florida legacy. His father went there. He has many peers and friends and 7-on-7 teammates that are all committed to Miami and going to Miami. They've all been in his ear. Miami, Louisville, and Florida were his finalists over the summer. He ended up going with Florida. I've overheard some things going on in the background that Miami's very much in this one as we get down to this late stretch. Will he consider what a new coach says at Florida? Yeah, of course. He is a Florida legacy. Miami is no stranger from stealing legacies from other schools. They've done it a few times already. And they're no stranger from flipping guys from Florida or Ohio State, who Miami's still battling some guys Ohio State even has for some potential flips. But I'd keep an eye on his recruitment very closely over the next, well, it was 8 weeks a couple of days ago. Now it's like 7 weeks and some change.
Yeah.
But continue to watch that recruitment. He plans to be back at Miami again. I know there's a lot that is in Miami's favor in terms of just people around him that have been in his ear, like, hey, you know, like Miami's the spot, and Florida, they're kind of, it's not really good what's going on down there. And like I said earlier, out of the 2 legacy guys from Florida in this class, Miami's got the best shot right now with Ben Hanks. And they do have to watch out for Georgia, though. Georgia's coming strong late.
Last question on Miami football. Before I wanted to talk to you about some basketball stuff as well, because you had some information on your newsletter about basketball. But how do you look? Kim Ward, the Selly went global now. It's national. Everybody's doing it. Florida State recruits are doing it. How do you convince a receiver that, you know, Cam's not going to be here, but we got you? Like, is that a hard sell? Because to me, if I'm a receiver, it's like, yo, this is a once in a generation quarterback in college. We don't know who's next. And I know it's like that for a lot of colleges, but I want to get inside of a mind of a coach, like a Kevin Beard. How do you sell that? Or a Mario, how do you sell that to a receiver, like a 4 or 5-star receiver coming in?
I think it's very easy. And here's what I'll say about it. Emory Williams a year ago beat a ranked Clemson team that had one of the top 10 defenses in college football. He was an injury away from a score-tying drive against Florida State on the road, which was a top 5 team last year when they were healthy with Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis really helped that team a lot. They had some really talented guys too, not so much anymore, but had a really good team. They constructed that very well. Emory came really close to tying that game as well. Then you point to a guy like Luke Nickel that's still in high school right now, but he's someone you could point to for a upcoming senior right now, coming out of high school that's about to sign. You could say, hey, you know, he has the number 3 ranked team in the entire country out of all high schools in the entire country, has beaten 2 top 15 ranked teams early on in this season.
He's beaten Florida schools too.
Yeah. And he's a finalist for the National High School Player of the Year. Like, he's having a really good year. He was in the Elite 11. Like, he has the accolades, and he has, I should say, the proof of concept that he's a winner too. Like, he led his team to a state championship the year prior. And then you could point to a guy like Darion Coleman, who has a lot of pull with local guys in the state of Florida for 2026. But the other thing I would point to, when any other school may try to negatively recruit and say, oh, you know, it's just a 1-year deal. They only got Cam this year. They ain't going to be anything next year. Well, here's the thing. If you go back to the time when Lincoln Riley was the head coach at Oklahoma, they ran on a string of transfer quarterbacks, and all these guys were either Heisman winners or Heisman like front runners, like big time candidates in the race. So they brought in Baker Mayfield from Texas Tech, and he became a big time star.
Yep.
They brought in Kyler Murray from Texas A&M, who transferred into Oklahoma. And then they went and got Jalen Hurts, who transferred in from Alabama. And right after him, there's this certain guy who goes by the name of Caleb Williams that played for Lincoln 1 year at Oklahoma. And then when Lincoln went off to USC, and he won a Heisman Trophy, and he was just the #1 draft pick this year with the Chicago Bears. So I look at that model, and I see what Miami's trying to do, what Mario Cristobal is trying to do. With Cam Ward is doing this season, you could go to almost anyone, any big-time quarterback in the country who wants to elevate their draft stock before they leave college, and you can say, look what I did with Cam Ward. You can come here, play behind a great offensive line. You have playmakers outside. You have running backs in the backfield. We can keep you healthy. We can keep your jersey clean. And you can have a really good year and go off to the NFL and get drafted really high.
And you could be a villain, the college football.
Well, that too. Because the thing is,
fun, man. That's fun. That's fun.
Here's the thing, Michael. It's you look at the situation with Cam Ward's celebration right now. He was doing it at Washington State. It originated from Western Kentucky. He's a wide receiver by the name of Dawood Davis, who's originally from South Florida and was also a player for Mario Cristobal at Oregon. I actually have a whole story coming up on that I'm getting some quotes from the guy.
That's great. That's great.
So that's going to be a big one. But that celebration didn't become this big thing while Cam was at Washington State. It's become a big thing because of that U logo. Like Mario says, you see that logo right there? It means something.
Yes, it does. And that's what's so amazing, man. It's great. So putting you on the spot here, is Miami's next year quarterback in the room already or will be? As in a recruit?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
I think Miami goes into the portal again one more time.
One more time, and then I think they're good. I think you probably lose Emory, possibly.
Well, here's the thing with Emory. He's very much invested into the program. He knows the deal that this is his redshirt year. They're still developing him. There's some people internally in the program that believe that he is the future.
Yeah.
He may be the guy for about like 2 years when it's his time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's going to have competition. You have Nickel coming in and then Coleman eventually and whatnot. You have to see how that all shakes out. You never know until these guys get here and they compete and they get developed and in the weight room and whatnot. But yeah, I agree 100% with you, Michael. I don't think Miami's next quarterback is on this roster yet.
IMAX says Poff is gone. I agree.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it's clear.
It sucks that I say it, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear just by the way the coaches talk and stuff is that he's already behind Emory.
Yes, correct.
And we all saw him play. I was expecting, and maybe I'm shooting way past, but when I saw his highlights and he got to Miami, I was like, oh, De'Aaron King, kind of, Baker Mayfield. But then when you saw him playing, and it's a very small window that we saw him, couple games here and there, and he only handed off. But in the scrimmage, it really shocked me how poorly he did in the scrimmage. And I know everybody has bad games here and there, but it's if it was your time to shine, that was it. And I was very underwhelmed. And no offense to him, I just imagined in my mind before I saw him play for Miami that he would be just blow me away.
Yeah, no, you're right on the money. Actually, I had been sharing it since the off season, especially fall camp right there in August. People are asking, well, who's going to be the second quarterback? What happens if Cam gets injured? If God forbid, if Cam Ward got injured, Emory Williams is your starting quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes.
100%. And guess what? Then we become a Georgia-like offense. He would be basically Carson Beck. So when people are like, we can't win with Emory, just remember, Cam Ward is different. Don't think you're going to go in the portal and get another. No, you're not.
I haven't seen another Cam Ward yet, to be honest.
No, I haven't. To me, look. Besides the national championship, he's the best quarterback to me Miami's ever had in lifting the program to a certain level. You know, I don't know. That's just me. But there is don't. I see a lot of comments next year. We need to find a replacement for Cam Ward. No, you will never find a replacement for Cam Ward because Cam Ward is one of one. He is him. End of story.
Yeah, it's very hard to replicate that. I mean, Oklahoma did pretty well in terms of that, but they were all different types of guys.
They were.
They weren't exactly the same, one after another. They were all kind of different, and the system really helped them too. But Michael, I agree with you 100%. It's Cam Ward. I think I spoke about this with you the last time I was on your show. I do think he may be the greatest quarterback that, at least talent-wise, Miami has ever had, or maybe the first since Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah. I agree. Now, love talking football, but I know you broke some news about basketball. How's the basketball program looking right now?
So I spoke with a source in terms of the team this upcoming year. This expects them to be a decent team this year. No, they don't expect like any type of crazy tournament run, but they do expect them to be a tournament team to get in that dance for March Madness. Now, one guy that I'm hearing that transferred into the program that's really going to open up some eyes for people this year is Brandon Johnson. Excelling very well since he's gotten into the program. Jaleel Bethea, the freshman, the top 5 in the country, 5-star, the highest ranked basketball prospect Miami has ever signed. He's actually having a good offseason, is getting well acclimated with the program. Not entirely sure if he's going to start off the bat or probably be Miami's 6th man, but he's very much going to be involved in terms of just the game plan this year for Coach L and them. Now, on the recruiting side,
I read from you the Twins are going to Duke.
Yeah. So, look, I can share this. There was a time where Miami felt like they had the lead in this recruitment, and a lot of their stance and thought process on it was that it appeared like the mother would have preferred for them to stay home. That wasn't really the case at the end. Now, the thing with their recruitment, and I think Miami fans are overlooking this, and I hate to say this because I think Miami as a brand, it's national, and especially with its football program. But there's levels to this when it comes to college basketball, and Miami will continue progressing up over the years, and they have. They've made advancements over the years with their basketball program just from a national perspective. But Duke basketball, that basketball brand, and then Miami are two entirely different things. And it was the biggest thing that came into play with their final decision is that national brand, being involved with that, how much they're going to be on TV, the NIL opportunities. Yes, Miami's got a ton of NIL opportunities, but Duke basketball, I hate to say it because I don't like Duke. I don't like Duke. It's true that there's much more for them in terms of just branding. And being legacy as well is another big thing for them in terms of branding too. So Miami, they gave their best shot. I mean, they were at almost all of their high school games. They sent out one of the assistant coaches to watch them overseas while they were playing with Team USA. They did absolutely everything they could. You can't get mad at Coach L and the coaching staff on this one. They did everything. At some point, it's like, I'll give an example. Let's say you're really interested in this girl, right? A woman that you think is beautiful, but you know, she's kind of brushing you off. She's kind of like, yeah, maybe. Or you say, hey, let's get some lunch. She's just like, oh, I got to look at my schedule. I gotta see if I'm free or whatever. You got to take the hint, man. It's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, well. So I want to end on a football note for everybody still watching. And we kind of tried to do this last episode, but it kind of got all muddy because a lot of different people were talking. But it's midway point. We got 6 more games, but I know you predicted where we would end up. But I want you to go further. Like, I want you to just string out the whole rest of the season. who they play in the playoffs. Let's just make a prediction midseason where Miami ends up when it's all said and done. Like everything. It's all said and done. The Miami Hurricanes football team is what? If you would like, I can go first because I have it in my mind too. But you're the guest. You can take the floor if you like.
I think Miami makes it into the playoffs this year.
First of all, who they play in the do they make the ACC championship game, and who do they play?
I have them making the ACC championship game, and I have them playing against the Clemson Tigers.
And I do too. So we're the same. Do they beat Clemson in the game?
I think so. I
okay.
think they get to the hump.
That's where we differ. I actually think they lose to Clemson, but they go further in the playoffs, if that makes sense. I think they both make the playoffs.
That's fair.
But I think they make it further in the playoffs because I would rather, in my mind says, I would rather them lose in the championship game, and know how it is to lose. And then it builds a different skin and then goes to the playoffs. So that's how I see it playing off. And 100%, to be honest with you, I think we get outcoached by Clemson in the ACC championship for some reason. Damn. Something tragic is going to happen, but I'm with you. But I think they go further in the playoffs. Do you see them winning one game in the playoffs or two? I see them winning two.
All right. So here's my thing. I think Miami has a great chance of finishing undefeated in the regular season, their first undefeated season in well over 20 years, which is going to be historic in itself. I really do think they'll finish the job that 2017 narrowly missed. We almost had it. I have them winning the ACC game, so that'll put them within that top four. Let's see, they get the bye week. They get a bye for that first round of the playoff. I have them winning their first playoff game, and they'll lose their second. And I'm thinking,
but that would be the national championship.
No. But they would still have to play 3, from what I understand.
Do they? Wait,
3 or 2? No, they would have to play 2 if they get the bye. Wait, no.
No, that would be if they won 2. If they make the second game, they're in the national championship. See, because the way I got it figured out, they would lose, so they would be 7 or 8 in the bracket, and they would have to play 3 games to win the championship. I think they get to the Final Four and lose, and not go to the national championship. The way you're saying,
look at the way the bracket is settled again.
There's a lot of people watching. If somebody help us out in the comments, but I really do believe you only have to win 2 games if you're in the top 4. Because you're going to play, it's only going to be 4 teams playing. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. The 12-team playoff, the way it would work is, they'll have that, but no. They would still have to play 3 games.
Really? Okay.
That bye. So
okay.
If you're a team that's not in the top 4 and you want,
you have to win 4.
You're playing 4.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
That's tough right there.
I have Miami winning their first in the playoff as a top 4 seed, their first game after their bye. But I think they lose. They win the quarterfinal, but I have them losing in the semifinal. I just think there's still a little bit of depth pieces that are missing.
Yeah. Secondary.
Yes. I think still some holes in the roster that's still need to be filled in before Miami could win it all.
Yeah, I'm right there. I think the semifinals is where they'll wind up, but I don't think Clemson advances past their first game. Like the first game they play, they're out. That's what I think. Dolphin, I got to hit you up. I got to get that 1 ticket because now I know I can go to the Florida State game. So thank you so much. Because Gio vouched for you.
Derek's a great guy. He's a great guy. Him Derek. And his son's been on recruiting visits to Miami and everything.
Oh, well, Derek, if Gio vouches for you, I'm all game. And thank you. Where can people find you? Because this is and I told you guys this earlier. I'm so proud. Gio went on his own. He's doing his own thing. Now, guess what? He gets to do his own endorsements. He gets to be where he wants to be. Man, tell everybody where they can find your stuff because I'm so excited for you.
Y'all can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at GeoMillion, or on Instagram at geo.million. I'm also partnered with the biggest Hurricanes page on Instagram in Canes Universe. We got a ton of content going on If you're over on my X account, I put articles right on there. I've opened up a private board too, because I know some people want things like right then and there. It's free right now. The subscription has not kicked in. I'm leaving it free until, let's see, until we get to Florida State week. I'm leaving it free. So it's free this bye week, next week through Louisville, and then going to open up a subscription model. But I'm including some nice stuff in there. I know some of you guys like those PFF, those Pro Football Focus grades. They charge people about $20 a month. Well, that's included in the package as well for what I'm doing with my subscription on Discord.
Love it.
A lot of great stuff I'm going to be tossing in there. But
do you still have that Caneswear thing to promote, or it's all good now?
Yes, actually. So I don't have the pen with me right now.
Okay,
but I do want to say though, Michael, I know you got two beautiful kids. I've seen your comedy spots, man. I was cracking up the other day. You know what? I know we're on live right now, but I think this is hilarious. So you know how you said that your mother named your dog at the time when you were a kid, Blackie, right? Our family dog, the first dog, his name was Blackie too. My parents were Cuban, and I never really thought about it as a kid. But now, like, I saw that comedy spot of yours a couple weeks back, and I'm like, man, he's kind of right.
Yeah.
A little bit racist.
Because you can't be yelling out Blackie anywhere.
Blackie, come home.
Blackie, come here. But man, you know, Cuban moms and Asian moms, they say what they see. Yes. They're not trying. If they see something, they'll say it exactly how it is. And they don't mean any offense. This is just how they see it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Gio, thank you so much. Definitely we're going to get you back on to talk about your subscription when it goes live, but I want to have you back on next week. Hey, I appreciate you. Yeah.
Hold up.
Tell me.
So I know you got your two kids. I got 3 boys. I'm going to be getting these jerseys when they're coming in at Caneswear. Now. They have the Cam Ward jerseys, orange, green, white, and black. They have the children's sizes coming in very soon. I spoke with Brett the other day. It should be sometime this week. At the beginning of next week, they're going to have the children's sizes coming in. So they're going to have all the colors, orange, white, green, and black. So for anyone with your kids, get your Cam Ward jerseys because and there's going to be some nice stuff that's coming out. I've seen behind the scenes.
Okay, I can't wait because that's where I get all my stuff. I order it online. They ship it to me. So I'm all about Caneswear. But hey, man, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. All right, bro?
Definitely. Anytime.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you for everybody watching. Hit that subscribe button, man. Please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow this thing, and I appreciate y'all. Go Canes, baby. Go Canes. Yeah.